Well, good evening. About time to begin. Any news? Been Sunday?
Liz doesn't come anymore on Wednesdays because it gets too dark before she's scared to drive in the dark.
Uh,
So she stays home.
and then, Susan, you're having a baby shower Saturday?
Baby shower for Destiny at 1:30 to 3:30 on Saturday at 29 Road Church of Christ.
Oh, okay. Cool. And, well, could you open with a prayer, actually?
Just now, Father, as we come before you, we ask, as we come together for this hour, for the study portion of your word, we pray, Holy Father, that you be the speaker. As Father Philip has said, is done in accordance with your word. Continue to watch over us, Father, to give us the strength to continue to do the things that we need to be doing. We ask that you be with the leaders of our land, that they rule wisely. We ask, Father, that you also be with our first responders. Ask that you be with our armed forces that protect us. As always, Father, put it into our hearts. Without you, we couldn't live, and without you, we dare not die. Continue to watch over us and bless us. Forgive us of our sins. Be with those that are sick. Watch over them and bless them. Be with those that are traveling. Watch over them also, Father, for you be great and holy will. All these favors and blessings we ask through Christ, your Son and our Savior. Amen.
Amen. Well, we're in the book of Joshua. I do believe we made it through chapter 15. I think verse 15. 15. So up to now, what have we kind of seen through Joshua and that from the beginning? And we've seen them being obedient, and that they were trusting in God. And now as we read on a little bit further, and that we're going to start seeing where things start falling apart a little bit, and that. And just wanted to kind of pay attention to what's happening. Are they losing trust in that? Are they being disobedient? I'll ask some questions as we start reading through here in a little bit. But I do believe, we made it through chapter 15, and I'll be starting in verse 13. According to the commandment of the Lord, Joshua, he gave to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, a portion among the people of Judah. Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak, and Caleb drove out from there the three sons of Anak. And that, stop there for a quick second. You remember who Anak is? And that one of the great big people of the giants, right? And that the three sons of Anak, Shishai and Ahiman and Talmai, the descendants of Anak. And he went up from there against the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir formerly was Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, whoever smites Kiriath Sepher and takes it to him, will I give Asa, my daughter, as wife. And Othniel, the son of Kenza, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him Asa, his daughter, as wife. When she came to him, she urged him to ask her father for a field, and she alighted from her ass, and Caleb said to her, what do you wish? She said to him, give me a present, since you have set me in the land of the Negeb. Give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. So there, do you remember what the Negeb was? Negeb is kind of the desert area. That's why she was asking for springs. And that it's very, very arid. 20. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the people of Judah according to their families. The cities belonging to the tribe of the people of Judah in the extreme south towards the boundary of Edom were Kabzeel, Eder, Jagur, Kina, Dimona, Adana, Da, Kadesh, Hazer, Ithan, Ziph, Telman, Bealoth, Hazor Hadatha, Kirith Hezron, that is Hazer, Ammon, Ammon, Shema, Moada, Hazard, Gada, Heshmon, Bethpet, Hezshuel, Beersheba, Bithomiah, Belalah, Iam, Ethan, Etolad, Kessel, Horma, Ziklag, Madamana, Sansana, Lebanath, Shoham, Ain, and Rimmon. In all, 29 cities were with their villages. And in the lowland, Eshcol, Zorah, Ashnan, Zana, Inganan, Tapua, Enam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Succoth, Ezka, Sharim, Edithim, Gedera, Gederothaim, 14 cities with their villages. Zenon, Hadash, Migdaga, Daiwin, Mitzvah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bokatha, Eglon, Kaban, Lehaman, Kitlish, Gedaroth, Beth-Dagon, Naamah, Makakda, 16 cities with their villages. Libnah, Ether, Ashen, Itha, Ashna, Nezib, Kiwa, Ikzib, and Marsah, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron with its own towns and its villages, from Ekron to the sea, all that were by the side of Ashdod, with their villages. Ashdod, its towns and its villages. Gaza, its towns and its villages, to the brook of Egypt, and the great sea with its coastline. And in the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Succoth, Dana, Kurethana, that is Debir, Anab, Eshtemoth, Moab, Anam, Goshen, Holon, and Bealoth, 11 cities with their villages. Arab, Duma, Eshen, Janim, Beth Tapua, Aphekah, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior, 9 cities with their villages. Meon, Carmel, Ziph, Juta, Jezreel, Jokadam, Zana, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Helhu, Beth-zur, Gedur, Morath, Beth-Nanath, and Ektalon, 6 cities with their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Arbava, Midden, Sekah, Mibsan, the city of salt, and Engedi, 6 cities with their villages. But the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the people of Judah, could not drive out, so the Jebusites dwelt with the people of Judah as Jerusalem to this day. So here we first read now at the end of 15, they could not drive out. Question that goes to me, why couldn't they drive them out? Why was God not with them at this point in time? Obviously something they weren't doing correctly with the Lord, because otherwise the Lord would have taken care of this, the way I look at it.
Well, he also said that he wasn't going to drive them all out at once due to, the wild animals taking over the land and stuff. So it might have been just
maybe. But like I said, we already went by last week. 5 years has already passed by. You know, Caleb was 85 years old when he was receiving his land last week. So they're 5 years from the day they crossed over the Jordan, at least to this point now. And I still always sit there and question why, and that because it says they could not do it, and that it wasn't, you know. At least my Bible says the people of Judah could not drive out. So the Jebusites dwell the people in Judah at Jerusalem to this day. So that's the question. It sounds like something is starting to happen amongst them that's making questions happen. So now in 16, the allotment of the descendants of Joseph went from the Jordan by Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho, into the wilderness, going up from Jericho into the hill country to Bethel. Then going from Bethel to Luz, it passes along to Ataroth, the territory of the Archites. Then it goes down westward to the territory of the Japhalites, as far as the territory of Lower Beth-horon, then to Gezer, and it ends at the sea. The people of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim received their inheritance. The territory of the Ephraimites by their families was as follows. The boundary of their inheritance on the east was Ataroth Adar, as far as Upper Beth-horon, and the boundary goes thence to the sea. On the north is Michmetha, that on the east the boundary turns round towards Tenanatha, Shiloh, and passes along beyond it on the east of Janoah. Then it goes down from Janoah to Ataroth and Narah and touches Jericho, ending at the Jordan. From Tapua, the boundary goes westward to the brook Cana and ends at the sea. Such is the inheritance of the tribe of the Ephraimites by their families, together with the towns which were set apart for the Ephraimites within the heritage of the Manassites, all those towns with their villages. However, they did not drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, so the Canaanites had dwelt in the midst of Ephraim to this day, but have become slaves to do forced labor. So again, we can see there, they didn't push people out again. Question why. And then notice now what they're having them do. They're putting them into forced labor. And nowhere in Deuteronomy did we ever read that they were going to put them into forced labor. They were supposed to drive them out. So again, they're changing the truth, which God spoke to them, drive everyone out. And there's something along the way that's going awry. And I don't know what from what we're reading, but there's definitely something beginning to happen that is not going to take them to where they need to be. 17. Then the allotment was made to the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph, to Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, where allotted Gilead and Bashan, because he was a man of war. And allotments were made to the rest of the tribe of Manasseh by their families: Abiezer, Helek, Asriel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shemida. These were the male descendants of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, by their families. Now Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters, and these are the names of his daughters: Mala, Noah, Hagla, Miliah, and Tirzah. They came before Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance along with our brethren." So according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their father. Thus there fell to Manasseh 10 portions besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is on the other side of the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance along with his sons. The land of Gilead was allotted to the rest of the Manassites. The territory of Manasseh reached from Asher to Michmethah, which is east of Shechem. Then the boundary goes along southward to the inhabitants of and Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the sons of Ephraim. Then the boundary went down to the brook Cana. The cities here, the south of the brook, among the cities of Manasseh, belonged to Ephraim. Then the boundary of Manasseh goes on north side of the brook and ends at the sea. The land to the south being Ephraim's, and that to the north being Manasseh's, which the sea forming its boundary on the north. Asher is reached, and then on the east, Issachar, also in Issachar, and in Asher, Manasseh had Beth-shean and its villages, and Ibleam and its villages, and the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Endor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Tanakh and its villages, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages. The third is Naphtah. Yet the sons of Manasseh could not take possession of those cities, but the Canaanites persisted in dwelling in that land. But when the people of Israel grew strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor and did not utterly drive them out. So again, they're changing what God told them to do. And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember ever reading, I checked back in Deuteronomy where then I don't remember God saying to put them into forced labor. So again, they're changing what God mentioned for them to do. This one I like how Joseph speaks out for his people. 14. And the tribe of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, Why have you given me but one lot and one portion as an inheritance, although I am a numerous people, since hereto the Lord has blessed me? I like that statement. These people know God is blessing them. I mean, where it's coming from. And Joshua said to them, If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and there clear ground for yourselves in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you. The tribe of Joseph said, The hill country is not enough for us, yet all the Canaanites who dwell in the plain have chariots of iron, both those in Beth-shean and in villages, and those in the valley of Jezreel. Then Joshua said to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, You are a numerous people and have great power. You shall not have one lot only, but the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it and possess it to its farthest borders. For you shall drive out the Canaanites, though they have chariots of iron, and though they are strong. So notice there, Joshua's telling them, you shall drive them out, no matter, because they have chariots and that. I like the way Joshua puts it to them. You're numerous people, go clear the land, the forest, and that would have been where I would want to be right there. Clearing the land, building a new, that sounds very inviting. 18. Then the whole congregation of the people of Israel assembled at Shiloh and set up the tents of meetings. There the land lay subdued before them. There remained among the people of Israel 7 tribes whose inheritance had not yet been apportioned. So Joshua said to the people of Israel, look at this statement here, How long will you be slack to go in and take possession of the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you? Do you remember in chapter 1, and that the Lord told Joshua clearly that you will be the cause of these people to inherit the land. And now he's talking to the people, saying you're slack at it. It's like Joshua's meeting some opposition here along the way, and that because otherwise I don't know why he would tell them they're being slack about going in and doing it. So again, something is going on. There, I don't know what, but something.
Prior to this, they were killing the different nations, destroying them. And now they're just trying to kick them out. Why did that change?
That's what I'm saying. There's something out there being. It sounds like they're being preoccupied with something else.
They're not obedient to God 100%.
Well, we know that. I mean, like I said, I don't remember reading anywhere that they could put the people to forced labor.
And we'll see later how it turns out and fights it.
Well, but it's the same. This is the beginning of it all. We're taking something. How to say it? Go ahead.
You just read about chariots of iron. There's many scholars who believe there was no iron at this time, but this plainly says iron. So that's just up to you how you're going to take that. But iron, if it is the iron, it shows that it is a more advanced civilization that had the knowledge to make iron and to use it. So say if it was the iron that we know of, these people are advanced, but that didn't matter to God. You're not going to stand up against God. And a lot of these places right here is still full of giants. They weren't just in one place. We see them all the way back in Genesis 6. So somehow one scholar believes that that gene was passed on through Noah. All right? I don't know. I wasn't there. But anyway, we see right here that God specifically brings up to the tribes of Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh. These are where the giants are also. So they're still there. And they're not really a threat when they're obedient. It doesn't matter if they have chariots of iron. God's going to defeat them. And they just have to have that faith.
Yeah, and we read how, Caleb drove them out of his area. We also read earlier in the previous chapter how Caleb said, if the Lord is with me, in that. And then we can see the Lord was with him, and, he did what was asked. The question I keep on asking is, what's happening now? Now we're getting a description of seven tribes still need to receive their inheritance. And why is Joshua saying to him, why are you being slack about it? And that is something, I don't know if they're not trusting in the Lord anymore. What do they have not to trust in him? He's given them every battle without a problem.
The lack of trust is shown by trying to kick them out instead of destroy them like they were told to do. And I believe that's God's going to have vengeance, as we know later on. But this is a serious thing.
I like reading this because, I like to get a picture of my own self. How am I falling into the same trap that these people are falling into right now? Something is going wrong. They're losing faith. They're losing trust. Something they're losing. They're going back to the people that originally said, we can't take the land, is what I'm starting to hear by putting the people to forced labor. And that, it sounds like the very same statement that, the 10 spies came back with Caleb and Joshua.
It's because they lost their trust and faith in God.
That had to be a lot of that. Their faith was weak. But we read later on, when we get to the end of the book, that as long as Joshua lived and the people that served with Joshua, the elders, that Israel was faithful to God. What they had here is a physical fear or reluctance to kill the people. And they were told, if you don't kill them, Moses told them, if you don't destroy them, they will be a thorn in your side. And that's what happened later on, is after the people that worked with Joshua, the elders that knew him and came into the land of Canaan with Joshua when he crossed the river, they were faithful to God, but they weren't faithful to themselves and kill those people like they were told to do. But Moses he said, if you leave them, they're going to be a thorn in your side. And that's what happened after the elders died. Israel started going back into idolatrous worship. I mean, they did that under Moses at the mountain, remember?
Right, the calves.
Yeah.
And look at 200 years after this, in the Judges, Samson being the last judge, he's still messing with the Philistines. They were supposed to have been long gone by then.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
We can see how this is all starting, little bit of pieces, and then they become numerous.
It jumps up to bite 'em.
Would they be becoming a little bit complacent? You know, they have these victories, they're doing all this, but yeah, we don't need to do that anymore. We can just, slack a little bit, have them be our slaves, and let's not do
Right.
exactly what,
That's why I say I try to see how I'm throwing them the same plant, same thing. How am I being complacent? I've done enough, which that's not a question here. We do what God says, and we trust in God, and that's why I kind of catch myself all the time.
And later on, we're going to see where they almost did do what they were supposed to, but then they kind of felt sorry because they're few now in numbers now. They're not like what they used to be. Well, they can't harm us. Well, it only takes one to harm you. But the point was, they did not fulfill his command. Like he said, Moses said, you better do this, or you're going to be sorry, you're going to pay for it. Anytime you go against God, you're going to pay for it. And that's up to you, that's not up to God. So when they came to a point of eliminating a whole nation or people, they thought, well, we got this under control. If anything happens, we can take care of it because we're so mighty and we're so large. That was not the case.
Then the other thing I keep on reading about, there's such descriptive of what land they're getting, the boundaries and everything, and that, I'm trying to remember, I didn't have time to go back and look for it. Were they not supposed to intermarry between tribes? They were supposed to marry within their same tribes.
For one reason, the Messiah is going to come out of one tribe, and that tribe is going to be pure. That was one reason. If all possible, that was the law.
Okay.
But it happened. Well, look at Samson. Took a Philistine wife. See what's going on right there? His parents said, don't do that. It's not right. I don't care.
Right. So anyways, I think that's why we're seeing such description of the land and everything, is because of that right there. They each had their portion, and they were supposed to stay within it. Where was I? In 4. Provide 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out, that they may set out and go up and down the land, writing a description of it with a view to their inheritance, and then come to me. They shall divide it into 7 portions, Judah continuing in his territory on the south, and the house of Joseph in their territory on the north. And you shall describe the land in 7 divisions, and bring the description here to me. And I will cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. The Levites have no portion among you, for the priesthood of the Lord is their heritage. And Gad and Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance beyond the Jordan eastward, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them. That's another thing I always think about too. These 2.5 tribes, their families are all back on the other side of the Jordan, and that they've been away from their families this whole time, and that we got to give them a lot of credit for, their land, their inheritance, everything's on the other side of the Jordan, and here they are still doing what they were supposed to be doing. So the men started on their way, and Joshua charged those who went to write the description of the land, saying, Go up and down and write a description of the land, and come again to me, and I will cast lots for you here before the Lord in Shiloh. So the men went and passed up and down in the land, and set down in a book a description of it by towns in 7 divisions. Then they came to Joshua in the camp of Shiloh, and Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord, and there Joshua apportioned the land to the people of Israel, to each his portion. The lot of the tribe of Benjamin, according to its families, came up, and the territory allotted to it fell between the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Joseph. On the north side, their boundary began at the Jordan. Then the boundaries go up to the shoulder north to Jericho, then up through the hill country westward, and it ends at the wilderness of Bethaven. From there the boundary passed along southward in the direction of Luz to the shoulder of Luz, the same as Bethel. Then the boundary goes down to Atzerothadar upon the mountain that lies south of the lower Bethhoron. Then the boundaries go in another direction, turning on the western side, southward from the mountain that lies to the south, opposite Beth-horon, and it ends at Kiriath Baal, that is, Kiriath Jearim, a city belonging to the tribes of Judah. This forms the western side, and the southern side begins at the outskirts of the Kiriath Jearim, and the boundary goes from there to Ephron, to the springs of the waters of Nephtoah. Then the boundary goes down to the border of the mountain that overlooks the valley of the son of Hinnom, with which is at the north end of the valley of the Rephaim, and it then goes down the valley of Hinnom, south of the shoulder of the Jebusites, and downward to Eglon and Rogel. Then it bends in a northerly direction, going to En-Shemesh, and thence goes to Gileath, which is opposite the ascent of Adumim. Then it goes down to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben, and passes on to the north of the shoulder of Beth Arabah. It goes down to the Arabah. Then the boundary passes on to the north of the shoulder of Beth Hoglah, and the boundary ends at the northern bay of the Salt Sea, at the south end of the Jordan. This is the southern border. Then the Jordan forms its boundary on the eastern side. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin, according to its families, boundary by boundary, round about. Now the cities of the tribe of Benjamin, according to their families, were Jericho, Beth Hoglah, Emek-Keziz, Beth Arabah, Zemarim, Bethel, Evim, Para, Ophrah, Keparamoni, Ophoni, Geba, 12 cities were their villages, Gibeon, Ramah, Betheroth, Mitzvah, Kephirah, Moza, Rechem, Erpeel, Tarla, Zela, Haleth, Jebus, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath Jearim, 4 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin, according to its families. The second lot came out for Simeon, for the tribe of Simeon, according to its families, and its inheritance was in the midst of the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, and it had for its inheritance Beersheba, Sheba, Molada, Hezshuro, Bala, Ezem, Eltolad, Bethul, Hormah, Ziklah, Lag, Beth Markaboth, Hazur, Susa, Beth Baoth, and Sharuhen, 13 cities with their villages. In Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities with their villages, together with all the villages round about these cities as far as Baalath, Beer, Ramah of the Negeb. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Simeon, according to its families. The inheritance of the tribe of Simeon formed part of the territory of Judah, because the portion of the tribe of Judah was too large for them. The tribe of Simeon obtained an inheritance in the midst of their inheritance. The third lot came up for the tribe of Zebulun, according to its families, and the territory of its inheritance reach as far as Sarid. Then its boundary goes up westward and on to Mariel and touches Bethseth. Then the brook, which is east of Jokneam. For Sarid, it goes in the other direction, eastward, toward the sunrise, to the boundary of Kisloth Tabor. Thence it goes to Debernath, then to Japhia. From there it passes along to the east towards the sunrise, to Gath-Hepher, to Ethkazin, and goes on to Rimmon. It bends towards Nia. Then on the north, the boundary turns about to Hananathon, and it ends at the valley of Iptal and Kata, Nahala, Shimron, Idala, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Zebulun, according to its families, these cities with their villages. The fourth lot came out for Ishkar, for the tribe of Ishkar, according to its families. Its territory includes Jezreel, Kesuloth, Shunem, Hapharaim, Shion, and Hareth, Rabith, Kishion, Ebiz, Remeth, Engangim, Enhaddah, Bethpazzez. The boundary also touches Tabor, Shaash, Azuma, and Beth Shemesh, and its boundary ends at the Jordan, 16 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Ishkar, according to its families, the cities with their villages. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher, according to its families. Its territory included Helkath, Hale, Betin, Aksav, Elam, Melech, Ahmad, and Michelle. On the west, it touches Carmel and Shihor Libnath. Then it turns eastward. It goes to Beth Dagon and touches Zebulun and the valley of Iftal, northward to Beth Emek and Neiel. Then it continues in the north to Kabul, Ebron, Rehab, Hammon, Cana, as far as Sidon the Great. Then the boundary turns to Ramah, reaching to the fortified city of Tyre. Then the boundary turns to Hosa, and it ends up at the sea. Mahalab, Ekzib, Ummah, Aphek, and Rehob, 22 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Asher, according to its families, these cities with their villages. The sixth lot came out for the tribe of Naphtali, for the tribe of Naphtali, according to its families, and its boundary ran from Heleph, from the oak in Zaanim, and Adam, Nekeb, and Jabneel, as far as Lakum, and it ended at the Jordan. Then the boundary turned westward to Aznoth Tabor and goes from there to Hakak, touching Zebulun at the south and Asher on the west, and Judah on the east at the Jordan. Fortified cities are Ziddim, Zur, Hamath, Rakath, Kinnereth, Admah, Ramah, Hazor, Kadesh, Edrei, and Hazor, Uran, Migdal, Horem, Bethanath, and Bethshemesh, 19 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali, according to its families, the cities with their villages. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan, according to its families, and the territory of its inheritance includes Zorah, Ishtaol, Urshimesh, Sha'alab ben Ayajalon, Ifla, Elmon, Timnah, Ekron, Eltek, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Ben-Benrak, Gathrimon, and Marjakon, and Rakan with the territory over against Joppa. When the territory of the Danites was lost to them, the Danites went up and fought against Leshem, and after capturing it and putting it to the sword, they took possession of it and settled in it, calling Leshem Dan after the name of Dan, their ancestor. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Dan, according to their families, these cities with their villages. When they had finished distributing the several territories of the land as inheritance, the people of Israel gave an inheritance among them to Joshua the son of Nun. By command of the Lord they gave him the city which he asked, Timnath-Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim, and he rebuilt the city and settled in it. These other inheritances which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers' houses of the tribes of the people of Israel, distributed by lot at Shiloh before the Lord at the door of the tent of meetings. So they finished dividing the land. Phew, I'm glad. I was not looking forward to these 3 chapters. I'm sure I murdered the words, but I listened to them.
If you look at your maps, Manasseh is the second largest, and Judah is the largest portion that's given out. Manasseh was competed to as far as size, and so was Gad. The rest were pretty much quite a bit small.
Sounds like different sizes of the tribes.
Notice it talks about by lot.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a haphazard lot. God had something to do with it.
Yeah.
They were at least able to see that God, they may have picked the whatever it was out of the hat as the lot, but God was the one that was in control. So he doesn't just do anything by lot. I mean, no wise person is unless it's something trivial. It doesn't make much of a difference. But the dividing of the country, that's a big deal.
Right.
And it's got to be divided the right way. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. Back in chapter 15, verse 63, the last verse there, and the Jebusites and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, all right? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. No, go back one more chapter. Chapter 18, 28, I'm sorry. And Zelah and Elf and Zebuzai, which is Jerusalem. So Jebusi, rather, was the name of Jerusalem by the locals. But the writer is saying it's Jerusalem.
Right.
And before it was Jebusai, it was Salem. And remember who came from Salem?
Mm-hmm.
Who met Abraham?
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek. Okay, so some of these names are local names. And like we said earlier, it's kind of hard to pronounce some of these because they just talk different back then. But we see right here, God has a hand in every step.